I'm speaking with Phil Gregory, a media consultant and the brainchild of BIack Presence. Phil, it's a pleasure speaking to you today. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, Tony. Thanks for having me on the show.
Great. Now, can you tell me what the projects you've been involved in the last 3 to 5 years?
Well, as you know, I've been working on blackpresence.co.uk.
Okay.
The majority of the work I've been doing with regards to BIack History, it's just been updating the site and trying to promote it, really.
So what made you want to set up this website?
Well, the site was born by accident. When I was a student back in the late 90s, I was studying a module called the BIack Presence in Britain. And there was a shortage of books, really, with decent information on. I used to go down to the library and, if you weren't there first, you didn't get the books. So you didn't have access to the information. So I thought, okay, there must be something on the internet about Black British history. There must be a lot of content out there that I can find and reference. Well, that wasn't the case, sadly. Back in 1998, it was pretty tough to find a lot of information about black people in Britain. Yeah, there was a lot about African Americans and Africans, but there wasn't a lot about the black experience in Britain.
I have to confess, I've visited your site several times, and I'm very impressed with the wealth of information available on that site. You have topics on history, black history, sports, philosophy, psychology, and all sorts of information. What's the response been like from people following the site?
Well, the response has been largely positive, and I guess that's what's driven me on. That's why the site is still around today in 2011 when it was started back in 1998. When I first started that site, people said, wow, you've gathered up articles here of things I'd never even heard of, and thank you so much for doing that. Keep going, keep doing it. And that's just been my motivation. The site is for the community. It's never really paid me anything.
Okay. How important do you think it is today to have websites like this available in Britain that either deal with Black British history, Black history, Caribbean history, or African history?
Well, Tony, I think it still is important. There is a certain lobby or a movement of people who say, we don't need this sort of thing anymore. It's divisive. Well, I'm sorry, but until real equality is proven to me, when I pick up a British history book and the exploits of Africans and Caribbeans who lived and worked in this country are recorded there alongside their white British compatriots, then we haven't got an equal playing field. So people writing their own history and gathering and recording and sharing their own history is absolutely vital, I think.
So would you say that it's very important for history to be a form of enlightenment for other communities to create more understanding and social integration?
Yes, absolutely. People make the mistake of thinking that BIack Presence is purely for black people. If you go to the site, it doesn't say that anywhere. It's an open site. Anyone can go there and learn. I've spoken to many white people who didn't know that there were black soldiers fighting in World War One who were born in Britain. They didn't know that the Romans bought black soldiers and stationed them at Hadrian's Wall. There's lots of examples where people are woefully ignorant. So that's not actually their fault. They weren't taught it at school. And so we need to get that information out to be commonplace so that it can get into the curriculum. And maybe one day, years to come, sites like BIack Presence won't be needed.
Phil, what's your vision with BIack Presence in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you hope to achieve with it?
Well, Tony, my vision is to grow the site. And growing the site is actually difficult now in because of sites like Facebook and Twitter, people like to get their information in short, sharp hits delivered to them. You know, people don't like going outside the Facebook. They like to stay in the Facebook with all the messages and their updates. But what my aim is to continue to provide quality content for people to consume. I'm using Facebook and Twitter as a tool to spread the word about the articles. And that's still driving traffic to the site. So my aim is to get more people involved. I openly invite people to contribute to the site, and together we'll increase the amount of content on there for people and increase the quality.
Now, you seem very passionate about this great initiative in our community. Was there a defining moment where you really thought to yourself, I have to do this? And what was this?
I think, the defining moment, Tony, was that day when I was in the library at university and there was just nothing. And I went to the computer room and did my research and there was just nothing. I thought, I've got to build a website. I've got to do it myself, because if I don't, I'm waiting for someone else, and I'm not used. That's not the kind of guy I am. I don't wait for other people. If I think of something, I just do it.
Now, your mixed race background, would you say in some ways your background gave you an insight, an open-minded insight to look at race and issues to do with history in a more neutral perspective?
I would say that being mixed race gives you a better insight. Now, some people may want to argue with that, but I grew up in a very white area, and so I've heard every negative connotation and slur and stereotype from white people, but I've also had a lot of positivity, understanding, interest and love from white people. And then when I've met people from Black or Caribbean, African, Asian communities, we've talked about the other side of the coin. And I've heard the story from both sides now. So, and being of mixed race, but looking more black than white, I know what it feels like to be discriminated against. I know what it feels like to be singled out. I have empathy, and I want to share those experiences with people, regardless of their skin colour.
What else do you get up to in your spare time?
Well, what I get up to in my spare time is I spend a lot of time on the computer. Being a media consultant means I have to know about video, I have to know about audio recordings, I have to know about how to use green screen techniques, have to be up on all the latest gadgets like the iPhone, the Kindle, and the iPads. And in my day job, that's what I do. I teach teachers to put cutting-edge technology into their classrooms. So I spend a lot of time on the computer. And when I'm not doing that or something with my family, I slip off to the allotment and grow vegetables.
That's fantastic. Now, Phil, for the benefit of our audience in Berkshire today, who want to know more about the BIack Presence initiative, how do they log on to that website?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Tony, actually, because normally I would have slipped a few plugs in before. I keep forgetting to do it. If you want to visit BIack Presence, then go to www.blackpresence.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, you can find us at BIack Presence. If you're on Facebook, you can find us just by searching for BIack Presence. You'll find a group, we've got a page, and there's a standard profile that you can add as a friend. And you are very welcome to submit articles, or links, videos, or content to me. If you've got a story to tell, I'm really pleased to assist you to tell it, and you can come and write as a guest writer on blackpresence.co.uk. If you want to email me, it's blackpresence@gmail.com. That's blackpresence@gmail.com.
That's fantastic. Please keep me posted with all the great work you're doing in the community. And it's been a pleasure speaking to you, Phil. We'll catch up soon.
Tony, thanks for having me on. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.